Welcome back, patriots. You know, I spend my mornings, well, short while of my mornings, scrolling through Sky News to see if there's any important things happening in the world. But it's all about Andrew, the royal family, and nothing really about what's causing the problems in the country. Reform has started to get a bit of a mention in mainstream, but there's no mention of the real problem in the country. Now, I'm doing these videos now to show people that only look at mainstream media. That's the only news they get. So they're not getting the problems, the basic problems that the country's in. So I'm just doing that for these people really, and to try and raise awareness. Now, in case you think I am a racist, I want you to know that in the 70s, I had workshops in East London, and I let my best friend use part of the workshops, and his name was Mohammed. He was my best friend, and he would drive across the country in the middle of the night to help me out. I tell you, he was a really good friend. I did work for a local Pakistani sweatshop who became such friends. They made me a beautiful leather jacket for free, lovely soft leather. You know, so we were a community. We all got on. I can't even remember if the word Muslim was ever mentioned back in the 70s. There was just no problems. But I think it's because most of the immigrants in those days came from our old colonies. So they were brought up under British culture. That's the difference. Even Pakistan back then was still part of the British culture, so to speak. It slowly went downhill as Islam grew, and Islam is the problem. There's no doubt about it. So let's have a look. What have we got here? You know, since some councils have been saying they're going to ban dogs in public places, there's been a huge response to this, and I think that I think this photo here is AI or Photoshop, because if you're banning something, there should be a red bar across there. But since these councils have been talking about banning dogs, we've had nothing but dogs. Dogs' lives matter. Oh, and Brazil, you know, have actually made it illegal for harming dogs and cats up to 5 years in prison. So they're stepping forward, aren't they? They're, you know, not such a backward country. Dogs' rights now. Oh, and this guy, he walks a big dog. The Muslim deterrent. They all ran away from him. Oh, this poor dog. See, dogs are so loving. Look, she just had her first baby, and she couldn't stop hugging it. See how friendly and warm they are? Not like cows and sheep. You can't help loving dogs. And this guy here, look, I mean, this guy is brilliant. He's even trained to stop and salute. Oh, you've got to love them, really. Oh, I can't show this video. It's horrendous. I'd probably get banned. But Morocco are killing homeless dogs and cats in a street purge ahead of the FIFA World Cup. How barbaric is that, Morocco? Yeah, millions were welcomed into Europe, while not a single neighbouring Muslim state agreed to take them in. The region knows exactly who it's dealing with. Europe chose to ignore it and is now paying the price. Naivety or deliberate policy failure. Oh, and Keir Starmer won't let President Trump use RAF airfields for strikes against Iran. He's siding with the evil Islamic mullahs who are terrorists. He is the enemy of the UK and the US and all humanity. Quite amazing, really. This is Piccadilly Circus, London, long considered the real centre of London and offering one of the largest advertising screens in the world. Now it's been taken over by Ramadan ads, paid for by Sadiq Khan's buddy, who is also paid by the government to root out Islamophobia. The same organisation that is turning the Trocadero into a place of Islamic prayer. For the whole month of Lent, a Christian country's capital city has been captured by Islam. This does not bode well for the long-term future of the UK. And the top three countries flooding the ocean with plastic. Malaysia dumps 73,000 metric tons a year into the sea. India cranks out over 126,000 tons a year. And the Philippines are jaw-dropping 356,000 metric tons of plastic into the sea every year. While rivers vomit city waste straight into the sea. By the hundreds and thousands of tons, you're out there sipping sad lattes through limp cardboard like it's saving the planet. This is disgraceful. The third world doesn't give a shit. It really doesn't. It just dumps everything in the sea. It's not going anywhere. It's going to kill wildlife. It's got. What can we do? What can we do? Even the Sun has managed to mention migrants. Look, it says that more than 15 billion in benefits have been given to migrants in just 18 months. That is disgusting. That is really. The country's bankrupt almost. Well, how can we give 15 billion away to people who won't work? It's got to stop. It really has got to stop. And I'm surprised that Sun, being mainstream media, has actually publicised this. It's unusual. I don't know whether this is true. I reckon 2,500 UK pensioners have died because of freezing weather and the removal of most of the energy supplement. And that's from Rebecca Thomas. She's a correspondent. I can't remember what paper, but again, it is a national paper. Well, they reckon that by 2030 there will be a majority Muslim population in Europe, and they'll just flat out vote in Sharia law. It won't just be no-go zones where they take over entire neighbourhoods, like in Paris, around Belgium and London. No, they'll take over entire cities, entire countries. But don't forget that Egypt was completely Christian for 6 centuries, and it's not anymore. All of North Africa was completely Christian for 6 centuries. It's not anymore. All of Turkey, all 7 churches, as mentioned in the book of Revelation, were all in Turkey, and they were all taken over by Muslims. Constantinople was the largest Christian city in the world, And the largest Christian church in the world for hundreds of years was the Hagia Sophia, and it got turned into a mosque. And so they want to do the same thing with the Vatican. And recently they allowed Muslim prayers in the Vatican. So we see that it's headed in that direction. There's no denying it. You know, people are still denying all this stuff, but it's happening. It's happening. It's going on. In Afghan Taliban passes domestic violence law. Well, that sounds good, doesn't it? A law against domestic violence, although it's not what it sounds like. Under the new law, men have the full right to beat their wives and children as long as it doesn't result in broken bones or open wounds. A husband can face up to 15 days in jail if he seriously injured his wife with a stick or with anything, I should imagine. But the wife must prove her injuries in court while fully covered and in the presence of the man who beat her. So that's unlikely to happen, is it? The law also forbids women from seeking refuge with relatives to escape abuse. Those who do can be jailed for 3 months. Meanwhile, new rules even target men's beards. The Taliban claim that a beard that's too short makes men look like women. Oh, a short-bearded woman, eh? So short beards are banned, and several barbers have already been arrested. Well, I don't believe it, do you? Last month, the Ministry for Promotion of Virtue and Prevention of Vice mandated that beards must now be longer than a fist. Control, control, control. I tell you, it's coming. They want to take over and they control everything. And 2 men who gang raped and killed a 12-year-old girl in Somalia are publicly executed by a firing squad chosen by the girl's father, who inspected the bodies to make sure they were dead. So no wonder the Somali pedos are coming to Europe. But so even like the Somali government don't go along with what's happening in Europe. A black woman involved in international drug smuggling avoids prison, while Lucy Connolly posts something on social media and receives 31 months in prison. It's it's all ridiculous. Two-tier Kia is behind it, I think. Well, Italy's first female PM, Giorgia Meloni, is getting called xenophobic and Islamophobic for this statement. From now on, anyone who enters Italy illegally will be deported immediately. Should every company adopt this same policy? She is another Iron Lady, and she's not kidding. Yeah. Denmark bans the wearing of the burqa and asks Muslims to adopt to its culture and rules. Face potential legal problems or leave the country. I think that's another Iron Lady, isn't it? Perhaps Europe's beginning to wake up, but is it too late? Data shows that unemployed migrants on benefits jumped from 497,000 in 22 to 771 in 26. That's a rise of 51%. England is paying for its own invasion. I can't get my head around. No, Labour promised to smash the boats or smash the gangs or something. But they're not doing it because they know that if they don't get the Muslim vote, they'll be out on their ear next election. They're letting them in because the Muslims will be voting for them until the Muslims are a majority, of course. But it will get the Labour an extra term. So Italy and Hungary have united, and the shockwave is a real earthquake for the EU. A powerful new alignment between Rome and Budapest is sending tremors through Brussels, raising fears that the EU's international balance of power is starting to shift. What once looked like isolated defiance is now shaping into a coordinated resistance on key issues like sovereignty, migration, Ukraine, and economic control. EU insiders warn that this partnership could embolden other member states to break ranks, turning quiet dissent into open challenge. If this bloc holds firm, Europe may be facing its most serious internal upheaval in decades. So good luck to them. Well done. You know that Labour removed the VAT exemption for church repairs. So now if a church is repaired, it's got to pay VAT on the repair. But Labour are spending 68 million to protect other faith buildings. What, mosques maybe? Oh, I don't know. It's disgusting. The punishment for entering various countries illegally, right? Russia, 2 years in a labour camp. India, 8 years in prison. Pakistan, 10 years in prison. North Korea, the death penalty. That's a bit strong. Canada, the US, and Europe, free housing, healthcare, education, food, public transport, cell phones, and cash. No wonder they're all rushing here. They turn their own countries into shitholes and want to rush to Europe. Why can't they stay and build their own countries? I don't know. Look, the UK has effectively legalised theft. If a criminal steals £200 or less, they walk free because the police honestly do not care. And here's a guy who lived it. His rear windscreen was smashed. A Mont Blanc bag and MacBook Pro gone in seconds. The police response was not interested, wouldn't come out, wouldn't look at the car, wouldn't lift a finger. You're paying for a security system that has completely checked out. Criminals are protected, taxpayers are ignored. But if you post something the government doesn't like on social media, they'll send a gang of armed cops out to throw you in prison just for liking a post on the internet. If that isn't two-tier policing, two-tier government, I don't know what is. And just remember that Ben Habib was the only political party leader to attend and speak at Tommy Robinson's UTK event. He was the only one. Didn't get reform there or anybody. Just only Ben Habib, and he's a genuine, transparent guy. He really is. I've listened to everything he's ever said, and he is trying to put the country right. I mean, I know he was actually born in Pakistan, but his mother was English. In the early days when he was a child there, Pakistan was still British culture, and they came to England because they could see the problems forming in Pakistan. They come to England, and he is as good as a Christian. He values Christian values and will defend them, and he backs British culture. He would do everything we need. I don't think anybody else will. Oh, so that just about wraps it up. And please, please, please subscribe. Eh? That would help me no end. And it's free, doesn't cost you anything. You won't get any comebacks. So until the next one, I'll see you next time. I need a good drink, I think. See you later. Bye. Gonna make you feel good.